Verbal integrity simply tells when you say something, make sure you do it. If you say to someone, I will give you 1,000 naira, make sure you do what? You do it. If you tell to someone, I am coming, make sure you do what? You do it. Some of you young girls, someone invites you to his house and you don't want to come. And tell the person, I'm coming. Why should you lie for someone? That day you switch off your phone. That day you tell the person that your mother was sick. That day you tell the person my period came and my tummy was paining me. You don't lie for anybody. Bible says, let your yes be yes and let your no be no. When people know you for that, you will make impact in their lives. So you must have verbal integrity. Don't say what you will not do. And if by any means you say something and you are finding it difficult to do it, you call the person and say, I said this, I'm having some challenges, but please give me time, I'm going to do it. Your word should be your command. Once it goes out, you should be able to live up to it. That's integrity. Number 2 is emotional integrity. Some young men, once you have something to do with people of the opposite sex, feelings will start arising. You can't control yourself when you start doing things with people of the opposite sex. It's an issue. Every male leader that is serious about making impact should have emotional integrity. Because the Bible says David served God with all his heart, except in the matter of David and Uriah's wife. That simply exercise brought dent in the testimony of David, and the Bible mentioned it like that. It is a bad thing to say that a man is a good man, but he's a womanizer. The girl is a good girl, she's a Keziah. Sometimes the problem can be from ladies. Once someone does something with you over time, emotions will start rising. Sometimes ladies come to me and say to me, I'd like you to pray for me. I say, why should I pray for you? They will say, there are 4 people that want to marry me. I'm confused. I say, okay, tell me, how many of them has proposed to you? They say, none of them has proposed, but from the way they are behaving, I know they want to propose. Yeah, girl. One of my daughters called me some days ago and said, I'm having problem, blah blah blah. I said, what is the problem? He said, heartbreak. And I said to her, we need to see one-on-one. I cannot say everything on phone. What? Because she has suffered heartbreak from 2 people within the past 6 months. Good girl. Pretty girl. But once she says yes to you, she will give you all her heart. Without knowing that some of these boys, not be where your interest they, their interest they. So I needed to see her, and I've invited her to come. I needed to ask her to zip up her emotions. One girl told me, anytime a man is coming close to me, I zip up my emotions because I know once I release it, the person can drink pap over my brain. So if you know you have that weakness, you zip up your emotions. And you insist on not releasing it until you are sure that already the guy has done something serious over your name. To avoid emotional challenges. So I'm talking about emotional integrity. For someone like me that work a lot with young people, the last church I pastored was a youth church. This church I'm pastoring is a youth church. If I don't have emotional integrity, story go full bag. Story go do what? Talk now. Story go full bag. And you know, girls, I'm not going to tell you. Finally, is financial integrity. Finally, on that. Financial integrity. One day, when I was serving in my former church, my wife came back and handed over an envelope to me and said, one brother Chidebere said I should give it to you, that it came for Thanksgiving. It's from Thanksgiving or whatever. And I said to my wife, what money is this? Because when we were then newly, we were told to always separate between your own money and your church money. So I said, which kind of money is this? And one priest that was beside me, I said, Nnanyuko, why are you asking this question? If you don't eat what comes from the altar, from where will you eat? It's not everything that comes to the altar that belongs to me as a priest. There are things that come to the altar and it belongs to the church according to the procedure of the church, where the denomination where I'm serving. So I had to make the call. And they told me the money it was for. And it was not my money. And I returned it. You must come to a point in your life where you are dead to money. Where you are dead to any money that is not your own. That's how to make impact. How can this one enter? Some people, if you are walking on the road, you see money, you pick. Some people come to the church here. Somebody is praying and lying down to pray. They will take the person's phone. Cause one of the foolish things to do is to steal someone's phone. I'm not pleading with anybody not to steal my phone. But the only thing that will provoke me is when you are caught, don't start telling me that I'm chaplain, because you must go to jail. If you steal the phone of a serious person, you must be caught. It may take 1 year, but you must be caught. You can always be tracked. If you like, let that phone be in the hand of the 7th person. Unless you have disappeared into thin air, you can be traced. So if you want to make impact, part of the areas of integrity you should have is financial integrity. Do you know that some people, even in departmental leadership, you ask students to contribute and you don't contribute, you're a thief. Some fellowship members, they do applico. You go and buy something for fellowship and you put something on top, you're a thief. You can't make impact like that. You think nobody is seeing you. They may be seeing you, but we're keeping quiet. Even if no human being is seeing you, heaven is seeing you, and you are delaying your destiny. When I was in the seminary, in my set, I was the SUG president. So there is a time we normally bring out in the year to raise money for SUG. So on that particular day, we had announced that it was a day we will raise money for SUG work. So a classmate of mine that was in the former SUG came to me and said to me that he wants to tell me how these things, how they do the thing. I said, how do you do it? He said, they will go and withdraw money, SUG money. Give president 20,000. Give vice president 15,000. And give other people 10,000. So during the fundraising, Mr. President will come out and say, I'm supporting SUG work with 20,000. He will bring it. Vice President will say, I'm supporting SUG work with 15,000. And he will bring it. Other leaders will come and bring 10,000. These are people to be trained as pastors. Because the same integrity issue that we have in the government is the same issue in the church. And meanwhile, let me say this. There is nothing like secular leadership and sacred leadership. The Bible says the earth is of the Lord's and his fullness thereof. The way you are expected to have a life of integrity if you are serving in the church, the same vein, if you are serving in the government, you should have integrity. It's the same earth and it belongs to God. It is only Christians that brings a dichotomy between the secular and the sacred. For Muslims, there is nothing like the sacred and the secular. Everything is sacred. In everything they do, they have Islamic agenda in it. Why should you live for impact? Number one, you need to live for impact so that you can live a meaningful life. Without impact, life is meaningless. I was sharing someone today about a man I know who supported me greatly in my former church. He drives just one Jeep. I've never seen him with any other Jeep. I don't know whether he has another one. But he spends a lot of money supporting missions. He spends a lot of money supporting missionaries. So if you must live meaningfully in the sight of heaven, then you need to live for impact. If all you do on earth is to be comfortable, to enjoy yourself, am I saying that comfort is bad? No. Am I saying that luxury is bad? No. But when you live all your comfort, when you live in all your luxury, and you don't make impact, it's a wasted life. Some of you here, it won't be a bad idea if there is a missionary that you put a standing order for. Every month, 10,000 enters into the account of that missionary. It won't be a bad idea. It won't be a bad idea if there is a student that came from poor home, that every month 10,000 enters into the account of that student from you. It won't be a bad idea. That's how to live meaningfully. Not that, you see, borderline here, borderline here, borderline. All of that are good. But when you have done that and you have not impacted on others, you have lived a useless life. You need to live for impact, because in so doing, you write your history. Our daily lives is opportunity to write our history. What do you want your history to be like? The story we read when we were starting was the history of a woman named Dorcas. The interaction you have with people, the actions you make, is your history that you are writing. Many of you have a useless history. The only thing in your history is like the foolish man, the foolish rich man. You did this for yourself, you did this for yourself, you did it. The Bible describes it as foolishness. The Bible says that one day the book of Chronicles was opened. I know that one day the book of Chronicles will be opened in heaven. No wonder the Bible says, according to 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 10, no wonder the Bible says that we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that each man will receive what is due him for the things done well in the body, whether good or bad. So why should you live for impact? Because you need to intentionally write your history. Why am I doing this? I have a project that is not completed. I went into a project, had some issues, and I still had a few hundreds to pay to a financial institution. I have not completed it, but in this program we have spent over 700,000. Why? I'm writing my history. That history is not important than that project I'm doing. Because when I close my eyes in death, that project has nothing to do with me. So you should be intentional about writing your history. Finally, you need to live for impact so that you fulfill your assignment. Remember, and in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, God said to Jeremiah, before you were conceived, I knew you, and I ordained you a prophet over the nations. In Igbo, there's something we call Eyuche. That is, your mother wasn't planning to have a baby and she became pregnant. In the agenda of God, there is nothing like Eyuche. Once you find yourself on earth, God has purpose for you. Once you find yourself on earth, God has assignment for you. In Colossians chapter 4 verse 17, the Bible says, say to Archippus, see to it that you fulfill the ministry you received in the Lord. One of the ways to live a life that is not meaningful is to live life without knowing what God has given you to do, without knowing your assignment. Why am I wasting my energy doing this? I'm just fulfilling my assignment. So to fulfill your assignment, you throw the weight of your impact in that area of your assignment. That's the way you fulfill your assignment. Once you have discovered your assignment, you'll be throwing weight on it. You'll be throwing weight on it. As you are throwing weight, you are working towards fulfilling that assignment. As you are throwing weight, you are working towards fulfilling that assignment, until you come to a point like Paul. You can say that I've run the race, I have finished my task, and there remained for me the crown of righteousness that God has kept for me, not only for me, but for all who await his returning. Friends, in all you do, make sure you make eternal impact. There is physical impact and there is eternal impact. Eternal impact is an impact that is recorded for you in heaven. It's not every impact effort that is recorded for you in heaven. When you make impacts and you are telling stories with it, in order to celebrate yourself, the Bible says you have received your reward on earth. I know someone who is a good giver, but in God they give, they talk. He they give, they do what? He they give, they do what? They talk. You will come down, tell him your problem, he will give you 300,000. Once you leave, and this brother comes, he say that I trust the Lord, people are passing through challenges, and I thank God that the grace that God is giving me to do all I can to help people. You see, the other day, bro, what's that your name? Bro Bright came and he was sharing terrible story, and I felt led in my spirit, and I had to give him 300,000. You see, there's a lot of problem on earth, but the Lord will help us. Sit down. When your life is like that, do you know what you're doing? You are gaining, you are receiving your reward on earth. That is why the Bible said when you give arm, you should not let your right hand see what your left hand has done. That's how to make internal impact. When you make when you want to make eternal impact, you don't glorify yourself, because no man should share glory with God. Glory belongs to God. And finally, if you want to make eternal impact, you need to give your life to Christ. Whatever you do before salvation has no place for you to be recorded. Unless you have registration number, there is no place your quiz can be recorded. If you enter school and start taking quiz, you don't have registration number, you are taking exam. At the end of 4 years, other people are seeing your result. You approach your HOD and say, In your own results, the first thing HOD will ask you is, what is your registration number? If you don't have registration number, there is no how anything you do can be recorded for you in heaven. There are people that are making impact. There are people that are touching lives. But because their names is not found written in the book of life, there is no place it can be recorded for them. All they are doing will start on earth. God will bless them for that on earth, but it has nothing to do with eternity.